Hey guys, and welcome back to Crouton Cracker Jacks. Today I'm going to show you how to make an awesome Italian sub. Now whether you call these things subs, submarines, grinders, hoagies, deli sandwiches, whatever you want to call it, this sandwich is a fantastic sandwich to make for holidays, for get-togethers, for picnics, or simply just for a good decent lunch. So let me show you how to make these. Now the first thing I'm going to do is get my vegetables ready because every good sub has a decent amount of vegetables. So I'm going to use some iceberg lettuce here, and I'm just cutting off just a little portion of it, just enough for one sandwich. You don't want to cut all these ingredients because they kind of get soggy. But anyway, iceberg lettuce here. I'm just going to use a knife and cut this into fine shreds. Shreds maybe 1/8 of an inch. Now, the secret to a good Italian sub is thinly sliced everything, and that includes the vegetables on top. So just shred this as finely as you possibly can. And since I'm kind of particular about my lettuce, I'm going to go through and pick out all the crunchy ribs that are in there. I don't like those in my lettuce on my sandwiches, so I'm just going to pick those out. Next, I'm going to get my tomato ready. Using a knife, I'm just going to core this, and then I'm going to, again, slice this into very thin slices, about 1/8 of an inch max. You want to make sure and use a very sharp knife for this. And it is best to get a tomato locally, that's been locally grown from a farmer's market. If you have tomatoes in your backyard, go ahead and use those. You want something with a lot of flavor, so use the best tomato that you can find. And then finally, I'm going to get my onion ready. This is a yellow onion. You could also use a white onion or even a red onion if you wanted to. Again, slice this very thinly and only enough slices for one sandwich. Once I get those sliced up, I'm just going to break those rings apart so I have little shreds, if you will, of onion. Now for my lunch meats, I'm going to start off with some ham. This happens to be Black Forest ham. I've got some hard salami here. You could also use Genoa salami. Prosciutto, which is a dry cured ham, as well as capicola, which is another dry cured pork product, if you will. And then for the cheese, I'm going to use provolone because every good Italian sub has provolone on it. And these lunch meats are pretty much standard with all Italian subs. For the bread, I'm going to use a loaf of bread here. You want something that's kind of has a crunch on the outside but is soft and chewy on the inside. This happens to be a French bread. You could use either French or Italian. And using a knife, I'm just going to cut this in half lengthwise. This is about 1 foot long or so. But depending on what store you go to, this could be a French bread or it could be an Italian bread. It just depends on what store you go to. I don't really know what the difference is. If you want to leave the difference, or if you guys know what the difference is, go ahead and leave that down in the comments section. And I'm going to start building my sandwich on the bottom. So on the bottom half of my bread here, I'm going to layer up a layer of my onions and use as much or as little onions as you wish on your sandwich. I'm going to follow that up with a layer of my tomatoes and just layer those as many or as little as you want, just enough to cover the sandwich. Then I'm going to do a layer of my lettuce. Again, use as much or as little lettuce as you wish. I like kind of a lot of lettuce on mine. It kind of squishes down in the end, so it may look like a lot now. It really won't be in the end. And I'm going to top this just like every good Italian sub is, with salt and pepper. This is completely optional, but it really does make the difference in a good sub. If you go to a good deli, they're going to salt and pepper their lettuce, their sandwich. So go ahead and add just a little bit of salt and freshly ground pepper. No Italian sub is complete without a sprinkle of oregano. So just use dried oregano here and sprinkle some of that on top. Really, it's what makes an Italian sub, as well as this. Oil and vinegar. I'm going to take some extra virgin olive oil here and just do a little drizzle right on top of my lettuce. And this will actually soak down through the lettuce, through the tomato, through the onions, and into the bread. For the vinegar, you want to use red wine vinegar. There really is no substitute for the red wine vinegar. You can find it at any grocery store. It's really not that expensive. It'll last you forever. It's also really good in spaghetti sauce. So I suppose if you could, or if you wanted to, you could use just, regular red wine, but red wine vinegar is the best here. And now I'm going to go ahead and build up the top half of my sandwich with the cold cuts. I'm going to start off with my ham here. Like I said, this is Black Forest ham. You could use whatever kind of ham is your favorite. If you like honey ham, go ahead and use that. If you like smoked ham, go ahead and use that. Black Forest is what I like. It's what I had on hand, so that's what I'm using. I'm going to top that off with the hard salami. Again, you could use Genoa, however you pronounce that salami. On top of that, I'm going to put on 2 slices of prosciutto, and a little prosciutto goes a long way. It's kind of an expensive meat. There really is no substitute for that. And there's also really no substitute for capicola, which again is a little goes a long way. You don't need a whole lot for each sandwich. 1 ounce of meat is enough for 2 to 3 sandwiches. So go ahead and get some prosciutto and capicola for your sandwich. I'm going to top that off with my provolone cheese. And then I'm going to flip the meat side on top of my vegetable side. It's just a lot easier way to make a sandwich like that. Then you want to give this a firm press here. You don't want to smash everything down, but you want to make sure that the sandwich is nicely seated together so it doesn't fall apart on you. Go ahead and cut it in half, and then you can go ahead and serve this up with whatever side that you like. My favorite is just plain old potato chips. Just thin cut, Lay's potato chips is the best. And there you go. That is how easy it is to make an Italian sub. Whether you call them subs, grinders, hoagies, submarines, whatever. They're super easy to make, and these really are a great sandwich for the summertime. Nice, refreshing, it's not heavy. It's just a good all-around sandwich. So there you go. That's how easy it is to make Italian subs. I hope you guys enjoy. If you give this recipe a try, go ahead and leave me a comment down below. Subscribe for more deliciousness and to keep up to date on all my latest videos. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.